Welcome back to another weekly GMBN Tech Show. Coming up on this week's show,
we have the updated Canyon Neuron.
Very nice. Yeah, we've got some direct mount mudguards.
The pretty kind of fancy Envy pressure station.
Quite spendy, that one, yeah. Some great stuff for you guys. Okay, so first up in news, I want to show you the Rapid Racer Products Direct Mount Mudguard. Quite a cool piece of kit. I actually saw a prototype and I've been using one of these through the winter, and it's really quite cool. So it mounts directly onto the reverse of your fork arch if you've got a set of Fox forks. It works on 34s and 36s, not on the 40s yet. I think it also works on some Suntour forks and some Öhlins forks. Really cool system. It comes with a couple of shims, so you can basically tip or basically adjust the tilt angle of the nose, depending on the tyre you run, and little rubber bumpers to go on the side so it just grips on your forks. Just quite a tidy piece.
They look pretty cool. With those shims, is it pretty... Are they different? How do you get the pitch right?
Basically, the way you can look at them side on profile there, you can see this one tapers to the bottom, this one tapers to the top. Yeah, simple as that.
It looks so clean, eh?
Yeah, and I love cable tyres, everyone knows I love cable tyres, but let's face it, it's not the best thing in the world to be constantly snipping them off when you're changing mudguard, so having a direct mount does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I love the way how clean.
It looks like it's supposed to be there, yeah.
Super good.
Nice bit of kit.
Nice bit of integration. Next up in the news, we have the updated, even lighter Canyon Neuron.
So I've got the current model, well, the old model technically, and it's pretty light.
It is pretty light.
Like I've got the XL, mine's probably around 28 pounds, I reckon, around that sort of.
Well, this one they've taken 250 grams off, and the top line one, in a medium, comes in at 11.7 kilos, which is 25.7 pounds.
That's insanely light.
And it's insanely light.
Yeah, so it's a 130mm travel trail bike. That's not a cross-country bike.
Yeah.
25.5 pounds or so. Yeah, that's insane.
I'm just really happy if I get any change. £30 for me is super respectable.
It's a borderline, isn't it? I think it should cut off.
Most of my bikes come in probably like between 33 and 35.
Yeah.
And that's quite normal, I think.
Running heavier tyres these days and all sorts of stuff,
But it's just absolutely incredible. But yeah, still the same geo in sizing.
Yeah.
They're kind of...
I do have an issue with that though, I have to say. So obviously I quite like longer bikes. I always talk about longer bikes. The Neuron isn't especially long, but it does make sense for the type of bike it is because it's not an aggressive trail bike. This is like every man or every woman's trail bike, designed for literally day-to-day riding. It does that extremely well. But the seat tube size, the seat tube height, and I'm sure you'll get this, per size is extremely high.
Yes.
Doesn't affect me. I ride the XL and it works out fine, reaches, 473, so it's fairly short, but as I say, it works really well. But the height doesn't enable you to size up. I feel like they could lop off a little bit on the seat tube there.
Because I would probably, in terms of reach, go for the XL.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, that 473, what is that, 50mm shorter than your Mega?
Yeah.
Which is quite a lot.
Don't remember, the Mega's at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. That thing is a barge by comparison,
But I completely agree. I don't really know, and I'm sure there are proper, design principles that perhaps I'm just, ignorant to or naive to, but why is long seat tubes?
Unsure. I can only assume, having basis on the fact they've got other bikes that are more aggressive and longer geometry, like the Strive, that they're basing this around how everyday trail riders think.
Yeah.
They buy them still predominantly on height of bikes, rather than it's the traditional way. You buy a 20-inch seat tube bike, and you know what you're getting. It's
funny though, I saw that interview. We've talked before about the Formula, bringing out some really cool interviews and insight, and they've actually got an interview with Cesar Rojo of Mondraker and Uno.
Yeah, I watched it this morning.
Yeah, and he talks about the first sort of that forward geometry where they re-welded an XL reach onto a,
I've seen that
medium seat tube.
In fact, I've got images. In fact, here's an image of that bike right now. It's insane.
Yeah, super cool. And I just think it's like there probably is a place for it, and we have our ideas about what a bike should be.
Yeah.
And there are probably people, but it's not gospel what we're saying. There are people that probably look for other things.
Yeah.
Maybe seat tube is something, but how do you guys size up your bikes when you're looking to buy them? Is it reach? Is it seat tube? Is it standover? What's the metric that you use to find out the right size for you? Yeah, let us know in those comments underneath. I'm also going to throw a link to you in the description underneath this video for our Geometry 101 video. So if you're a little bit confused about what the seat tube length is or what the reach is, that video will tell you exactly what they are. And let us know what applies to you. Okay, so next up, Mondraker, speaking of Mondraker, they've got a new bike out. And I have to say,
This one confused me because it is an e-bike, but I actually didn't realise it was an e-bike until I started looking at it. Because well, have a look at it. This is the Crafty RR, in fact. So it's made from their stealth carbon. So this is an extremely light as far as e-bikes go. So it's in the sub 20 kilogram category. I think this one's about 19 actually. That's on the screen. I think you can't not agree with me in the fact it's a good-looking bike, full stop, regardless whether it's acoustic or E or whatever you want to call them.
It makes me quite uncomfortable. My feelings on e-bikes have sort of been documented along the way slightly. Although ultimately, if someone wants to ride an e-bike, I don't really care. Yeah. But I long for the days when they were ugly as sin, heavy.
And that, I think that's a bit of a game changer as far as appearance go.
I want it to look like a snake that has swallowed a microwave, you know?
What?
Like, you know what I mean? Just like
where are you going with that?
Like a small down tube, and then it's just a block. It looks like they've just got, like, you know.
All right. Enough ranting about hating e-bikes. Let's talk about this very nice e-bike that's here. Shh. Right. So this one, it's got a 625 watt hour battery. It's got the 4th generation Bosch system on it, and of course it has that forward geometry that Henry was just talking about, which the long low slack that everyone refers to, Mondraker did it first. Other people might have done it first in prototyping, but they were the first brand that took a gamble to do it. And they jumped straight in and put a 10mm stem on bikes when everyone else was still hovering around 70mm. So they went straight in all the way to the end.
Super committed.
And they've actually come back slightly since then and settled on a 30mm stem on bikes, which seems to be about right with the combination of the wheelbase and stuff. You can find out more about that bike on the EMBN show, but I just wanted to throw it to you because it looks so good. I didn't even realise it was actually an e-bike, which is bonkers these days. Next one's actually something I spotted on Instagram, just scrolling through, because the guys on EMBN went to do some stuff with, in fact, it wasn't with Julian Absalon, it was with Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, but Julian Absalon actually spends a bit of time with her. I think they've seen each other. And I looked on his Instagram page, and look at these tyres. So this is a shot from his Instagram page, a set of Michelins. They look like original Wild Grippers, but it's the new decals on the sidewall, so that's obviously some sort of remake of the tyre. Say what you want about the colour, those tyres were iconic back in the day, and they're back. Although the first time round, you might appreciate this, let's just say they weren't that grippy. They were known as Wild Slippers rather than Wild Grippers. But the new Michelin tyres are insanely grippy. Pretty much everything in their ranges these days. So whatever they're doing now, this is obviously something new, a new special project. So just going to throw you a link to the Michelin website, actually. Check out the DH22 for a tyre. That's what Samuel runs, and well, you've seen how he rides. So a little bit of a clue of what's to come from Michelin, I think.
I just think, like nice looking e-bikes and green tyres. Are you testing me, Satan? It's just almost too much for me to bear. What's going on? It looks like bubblegum ice cream.
I love tech. I can't help it. I love all tech. I embrace the tech.
I'm sure the tyres are great, but come on now, Father. Next up, we have something a bit kind of different from Envy. Envy, the composites engineers, wheels, handlebars, etc., have now got their air pressure station, which basically is kind of it's like a regulator for air pressure, I suppose. You can always get same consistent pressures. It's on the wall, has a little hose. Bam.
So it works with a compressor?
It does work with a compressor.
So it comes with a compressor and stuff then, yeah?
This is it. I'm just going to backtrack a bit there. It works with the compressor, but it's like batteries not included, compressor not included.
So what are we talking money-wise then?
It is, I think it's about $700 or something.
$700 with no compressor?
With no compressor. But, listen, I think it is out of reach. I probably wouldn't buy one.
Yeah.
But in a shop, if you're doing rental bikes, something like that, it could be good. It is really premium. I think it's unapologetically expensive. Yeah. And just don't buy it then.
But sometimes the best kit is, look at Snap-on tool chests, and there's various tools in the market that cost a fortune, and that's it. Done. End of.
Yeah.
It's not a tool for me, but I've got to say I don't have a problem with it being expensive, because someone's going to have one and they're going to shout about how good these things are.
Yeah, exactly. I'd quite like to see it for what would be, I don't know what the pressure rating is, or even the pressure rating of the compressor, but for doing IFPs and fork pressures and stuff like that, instead of
get it to perfect,
and knowing that it wouldn't go over, I think that would actually be pretty handy.
I did notice it's got, so for seating tubeless tyres, you can actually seat the tyres using it. You can predetermine a pressure you want the tyre to be after seating.
Oh, wow.
So you can set it to seat the tyre, and then it will add the correct pressure, which I think that's a brilliant setting.
Because I don't know what they're rated to, but imagine if you could put it, say, in a shock, and then as you're equalising the air, it always just comes back to you know what I mean? Correct, yeah. Something like that could be really cool, but I'm not too sure. But it's accurate to half a PSI.
Wow.
So, yeah, really good for the tyres. There's a couple of pre-programmable pre-programmable settings, so for front and rear, etc. So yeah, premium bit of kit, but maybe it does have its place for your workshops.
I mean, to be fair, all right, so the 750 is expensive, but compressors are certainly not expensive.
Yes,
so,
true.
So actually, yeah, whatever. But yeah, it's expensive bit of kit, but I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, totally. Now it is time for Bike Cave, the part of the show where we show off your cool places to store, work on your bikes, etc. If you have a cool submission, hit the upload link below and get it sent in, and we can hopefully feature it on the show.
First up is from Andy in Shropshire. That's up Neil's home turf,
good
really.
There.
Yeah, Whitchurch. I'm not too familiar with the area, but good riding nonetheless up there. So my wife went out today to do some Christmas shopping, so I did what anyone else would do and turn my garage into a bike cave. Yep, job well done there. It was a time-limited project I only had until my wife got home. Therefore, I didn't have time to charge the iPad to watch GMBN. Good work. Yeah, there's nothing like it. So what did you do? So back in the kitchen afterwards and pretending you're just doing some chores, was it? And then the workshop had just magically appeared. So you've done a good job considering that was in a rush.
Yeah. Looks tidy.
Yeah.
I like a bike frame on the wall, like an old memento. Is always a nice touch.
Screaming Fist or Screaming Palm and a Santa Cruz deck on the wall there. Some part tools, an old mountain bike maintenance and repair book. All sorts of good stuff going on in there. And that looks like a Green Star 300 CDI boiler as well, to me. By Worcester.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is.
I never knew you were a boiler kind of guy.
I fitted my own one, yeah.
Oh, heavens, wow. Maybe this could be a separate show altogether, Boilers with Doddy.
DIY Dodd, yeah, we've done this stuff, yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, nice setup, looking good.
Oh, this is nice.
Whoa.
Scandinavian vibe.
So Fred from Durbanville, Western Cape, South Africa. We're getting quite a lot of entries from South Africa, actually. I have to go down there and actually ride a bike. I've been there a couple of times, but not riding.
You went to the World Cup there, was it last year?
Yeah, year before. Oh, phenomenal. There's such a big riding scene. You just don't expect what you get when you get there.
Yeah, because
Paiga
have moved their, I just saw in the news this week, they moved their manufacturing back to South Africa.
Oh, really?
Morwood of Paiga, and originally Morwood bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, really strong scene. Cool stuff.
And an awesome looking bike cave. We're moving into our new house. I claimed the Wendy house in our yard for the bike cave. I slowly got it set up to accommodate the bikes on one side, as well as create a space to work on the bikes. When you say Wendy house,
I was going to say, I like that you said, I imagine him like arm wrestling his child for it, like a 4-year-old.
In the UK, a Wendy house is something really small that kids play with dolls in. But this looks more like a UK garden shed. So I'm going to call it a shed, because it looks like a shed. Either way, the end goal is to be able to fully service our bikes, as well as anyone's in the community that needs it, can't afford the cost associated. Hey, that's the way to go. That's really cool.
Yeah.
If you can help other people fixing their bikes and stuff, yeah, it is expensive and knowledge is key. But yeah, awesome, mate. Looks really good. Looks like it's starting to get a nice little setup in there.
Yeah, nice and light.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't look like that in the UK. Look at that nice golden light. You just have the rain beating down the window. In fact, our sheds don't have windows because there's no point. You don't get any light for them. So, but yeah, it looks really cool. Nice selection of bikes as well.
Cool, Scott.
Yeah. There's a big sort of XC marathon sort of thing down in South Africa. People hit serious miles down there. Nice. Okay. Next starts from Chris in Bellingham. Nice, a bit of wooden panelling going on there. Some tongue and groove pine boards with a bit of stain to highlight and protect the garage walls from dirt and scratches when you're hanging up the bikes.
Yeah.
Nice, got a nice sort of organic look about it as well. Quite stylish, actually.
I would love to go. He comes from Bellingham.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
the riding looks insane, doesn't it? Yeah.
And like a day's drive, you could be whistling back.
Yeah,
you know?
it's an optimum sort of place, isn't it?
Jeez,
I think that's where
Louise.
Kona are based, isn't it, these days?
Yeah. Oh my, Pacific Northwest. I mean, we say we've got it wet, but probably they could.
I know, but it looks like the best mud for it.
Yeah.
In Scotland, the mud deals especially well. Like the PT mud and the rock combo does so well when it's wet. You can ride it whatever. Where we are in the southwest, it's not quite so good.
Very diplomatic way of saying it. Not quite as good as perfect.
Yeah, what I meant by that was it's actually. Okay, now it's into Rewind. You know the score. This is where we look at yesterday's mountain bikes and mountain bike tech, and sometimes how we've got to where we are today from that old tech. If you want to send anything in, please do. The link is right down here. Alternatively, use the hashtag Rewind if you've got any questions about old tech or perhaps how we've got to where we are today. Leave them in the comments underneath. this week I'm really excited. So there used to be a guy, well, still is a guy, called Darren Tapp. Mountain bike racer, although these days he's a bit more of a gravel hound. See him on his Instagram page, doing a lot of stuff. So when I used to work at Mountain Biking UK magazine, Darren was one of the UK riders who used to feature on the cover quite regularly on all sorts of rowdy bikes, often a Yeti or maybe a Fat Chance, Shockabilly, stuff like that. He always had rowdy haircuts and stuff like that going on. And he's actually been hunting for a Yeti lure for a long time, and he finally got one, and he's done a complete rebuild project on this. So back in the day, he used to ride for Evolution Imports, which used to distribute Yeti in the UK, but just look at these pictures on the screen here. In another week's show, I'm actually going to show you another one of his bikes that he rebuilt that I took some photos of, but this is all about this Yeti. He's had some work done from Ali at Fat Creations, who we know is one of the best resprayers in the UK, to bring it back to those original colours, but I think it just looks awesome.
The finish is fantastic, eh?
And I don't know, Yeti, like on a Dirt Shed show, you got Yeti, you get a Super Nice, it's just one of those weird things in life. The Yeti blue is just such a cool colour.
I wonder if the pull shocks will ever kind of come back.
I don't know, I mean, those particular ones, I think they used to have a lot of issues, used to leak a lot, and they later made, or it perhaps might have been the Schwinn version of the same frame, they made the same frame with a compression shock, because Neil used to have one when he used to race for Team Halfords.
Yes, yeah.
And I think this was the original one that came with a pull shock on it. But either way, the back end was insane on those things. You could literally plough through stuff. The forks weren't quite good enough. I think that's a Boxer 151 on the front there. Great fork at the time, but nothing on the rear end of those bikes. In fact, there you go, Fat Creations Workshop, getting them resprayed, bringing it back to life.
Does look cool, eh?
Classic Chris King headset. What else would you fit on a Yeti? Have you ever had a Chris King headset?
I never have.
I've not got that far yet.
No.
I don't know why. I've had all sorts of different ones over the years. I think I haven't had a frame that I've ridden for a long enough period that I've sort of warranted having one.
Yeah.
So they're definitely fit and forget.
They are lovely pieces. Interestingly with Chris King, I think, you know, that bespoke show in Bristol.
Yeah.
You have to be a bespoke, component maker to get in.
Yeah.
And Chris King qualifies.
Yeah.
I think, and he turns up like Mr. Chris King.
He's always there as well.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's so good.
How good does that look? Pantone matched. So good.
Looking rad. Thanks, Dazza, for sending those in. Much appreciated. And stoked you're still watching the show. Cheers, mate.
Next up, we have Top Mods, which is where we get to showcase all the fine work you do on your vessels. So
Vessels?
Vessel, yeah, I'm going to say vessels.
I like that.
So if you've got a Top Mod submission, please hit the upload link below and we can feature it on the show. And first up, we have Brady and his Focus. Now, Focus is a really cool company. We were talking about it the other day because I believe the origins, and get in the comments if this is what I'm pretty sure is true. Focus started off as a cyclocross company.
Yeah.
And the guy, this is like early 90s, got a universal trademark on the name Focus. And he bumbled away, making some cool bikes, but not doing anything, big in terms of manufacturing, until a little known company called Ford bought this car out called the Focus. And they came to a settlement that was like 10 euros a car, and they made 5 million of them.
Whoa.
And that's the money he used to start the company.
That's a really cool story.
How crazy is that? Yeah,
That's
I'm pretty sure it's true.
Wow.
I got told by a Focus rep, so I hope it's true. And this bike looks fantastic.
It's got the tan walls on there.
Got the tan walls, mother may I.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Blacked out with tan walls. Although, to be fair, you could have some all black decals on those forks and that'd look especially badass. But at least they match the back end of the bike. So.
But no, I suppose just getting into the Australian summer. And he's upgraded the bars, stem, dropper, levers, chainring, pedals, seat and tyres. He's got a 46 cassette on the back.
Yeah.
It came with a 2x, which he quickly took off. And it looks fantastic.
Are they pink handlebar grips or red? Can't quite tell. I think they might be pink because he's talking about some pink muck or valves on there. Again, can't see those in that detail. But it looks wicked.
Yeah, super cool.
It's real cool. There's a video clip as well.
Oh, nice.
Let's have a look at this. Bit of shredding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
You should get up on the old Cutties and Coffee on Instagram. I'd love that.
Oh, this looks good. This looks...
Whoa, so this is a right old butched Frankenbike thing going on here. So it's a Kona Cowan. So am I right in thinking the Cowan was a jump bike, wasn't it? Named after John Cowan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's a jump bike turned into a gravel bike with drop bars. I'm sure some people might turn in their grave, but I absolutely love this stuff.
I think that looks great.
Wow. Yeah, bike started life as a Kona cow and dirt jump with sliding rear dropouts and fitted a 700C by 36 wheel tyre combo. For the fork, I fit 100mm suspension corrected Kona Project 2, so old school fork on there. 1x10 DT drivetrain consisting of Shimano Tiagra shifters, running the left shifter as a dead shifter. 1142 cassette, 36 tooth oval black spire ring. Man, this is really cool.
I think it looks cool. And honestly, with a gun to my head, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between that and like a Specialized Diverge. It's the same bike.
That's a good shout. Yeah.
No, it looks super cool. And yeah, like I like people that just like make stuff work, and I think he's done that.
Yeah, that's sick. Love it as a daily. In fact, I was just talking about daily bikes with Steve Jones from GMBN. He came in looking like a drowned rat this morning because it was absolutely hammering the rain outside. And he parks up near my house, which by bike is 10-minute ride to the office. If you walk though, it's nearly 50 minutes. And if you're Steve Jones, it could be over an hour because he's not very good at walking. And I said he needs a rat bike, so maybe we should show him this. It might give him some inspiration because he's going to have loads of old frames and stuff lying around.
Yeah.
Maybe we should build a rat bike out of some stuff just because it's quite cool to bod something together, isn't it?
Yeah, totally, big time.
Be a bit of fun. Nice one. Thanks, Ralph, for that.
Speaking just previously of Mr. Steve Jones, who is something of a welly aficionado.
Yeah.
We have a submission from Marty from Nelson in New Zealand, which is one of my favourite places in the world.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, this is a hack. What is the grippiest thing in the world? The highest friction coefficient ever recorded was actually off some Minions, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
And he just thought, this will do. Just stuck them on his gumboots, on his wellies.
Straight on the bottom.
Absolutely fantastic. He's just going to be moving earth with those things. That much grip.
That is such a good idea.
It's so good.
Old tyres on a pair of wellies. That is genius. Yeah, do you know what? We'll have to show this to Jones and see what he does.
I worry about the waterproof qualities of the
it looks
welly.
like he's screwed straight in. That's not going to go straight through the sole.
But no, just Kiwi ingenuity at its absolute finest.
Hey, that's
good
mega.
on you, Marty. That's rad.
Yeah, nice one, dude. Okay, so tech of the week, as you can see behind us here, we've got a pretty strange looking bike. So this is from Structure Cycleworks. As you can see, it's got a crazy linkage looking front end on it that uses a rear shock absorber rather than telescopic pair of forks. It looks a little bit like the BMW duo lever fork you see on some motorbike designs. And as you would imagine from linkage forks, it's got, as you see on the truss forks and other options in the market, you've got your constant angles basically, so you don't get fork dive and stuff. So there's a lot of cool things to go on there, but it looks insane, doesn't it?
It does indeed. I've never ridden anything, probably this would be the word, like kind of unconventional.
Yeah.
But I'd certainly be really curious to try, and I don't think that a bike has to look a certain way.
I agree.
Truss forks.
Yeah. I've got to say, when I first saw these, I saw one at Whistler a couple of years ago when I was with Neil, and I did look at it and think like, oh my God, what on earth is that? But the more I kind of thought about it as I walked away, I was like, actually, like, they're kind of onto something. Like, there's a lot of things to be said about a linkage front end on a bike.
Totally, and even just, in the car park, just having the old fork bounce.
Yeah.
Such a long lever.
It feels so good, doesn't it?
Is really quite remarkable. I think it looks really good. Good on them, I reckon. It looks like a lot of tech packed into it.
Yeah.
Not just obviously the rear end, but all this, and also things like that co-eccentric pivot there. It looks like, quite an extreme thing, but there's no reason it couldn't ride fantastically.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about with linkage forks. We're actually going to do a big feature all about this sort of stuff soon. We're just trying to assemble that. The cool thing about these sort of linkage forks over telescopic forks is obviously with telescopic your angles change quite dramatically, whereas a linkage fork you actually resist that, and to a degree I think this one actually slackens under compression as opposed to steepens. So if the bike gets more stable, the more rowdy you get, and actually your wheelbase stays constant through compression as well, which is something that doesn't happen with normal bikes. So hard to say how this is going to ride compared to a conventional bike, because it's so far from conventional.
Something that, and maybe I'm getting the wrong end of the stick here, but something I was thinking about is there seems to be a big conversation in our rear shocks about increasing the length, increasing the eye to eye, and basically trying to get that ratio of travel at the back to travel here. The quality of damping better by decreasing the ratio.
Longer to shock, basically.
Longer shock, more room to play with.
Yeah.
Now, one of the beauties of a fork is that the ratio is 1-to-1. That it doesn't have to pass through. With all this trend. I don't know if there's enough people to call it a trend yet, but it seems to be going like that. Certainly, a topic has been raised.
You think it's almost the opposite way around?
Well, yeah, because we're going from, say this is 100. I think it's 150 mil travel roughly, and we're going to a shaft that's probably about 60 mil.
Yeah.
So there, we're in. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an engineer. I probably don't know enough about this, but I just think it's two conversations that are happening within our bike design that seem to be working inversely to one another.
Yeah, and of course it is. You're right. It's completely the opposite of what we're used to with a telescopic fork. But I guess that's why this approach isn't taken that often.
Yeah.
Because to even design this, it's a serious feat, I'd say.
Yeah.
Telescopic forks are fairly conventional. They work. They're easy to service. They're easy to replace components. This, of course, they're all sealed bearings, so in theory they should be right. Mud clearance perhaps a little limited for us here in the UK, but probably not that much of an issue for many people. But what do you guys think of it? What do you guys think of linkage forks? What do you think of linkage bikes like this? We've obviously shown you that Trust fork in recent times, but this is a whole different kettle of fish. What do you reckon? Well, there we go. That's another weekly GMBN Tech Show in the bag. For a couple more videos, I'm going to throw to you your video, actually, Red Bull Hardline, down here, where you're asking all mechanics stuff. I actually really enjoyed that video.
It was really good fun to film. I'm going to throw you to that Geometry 101, getting all the basics dialed in. Super cool.
I think I got my triangles and my diamonds confused in that one.
How could you? You're a real piece of work, Dobby.
I know the difference.
You're a real piece of work.
Don't forget to give us a thumbs up here at GMBN Tech. Let us know that you love us or you hate us down there. And give us a thumbs up. Cheers, guys.
I'm shell-shocked.